You're not gonna make it. No, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it, but you can. Welcome to You're Not Gonna Make It, the show where I discuss threats that may prevent you from making it. I'm Kevin. The healthcare system is failing you, and it's annoying me. Mostly the U.S. healthcare system. I'm sure others in developed countries are pretty decent, but ours sucks. Now, I will get into how this applies to weight management, but this episode is coming about because I got annoyed as fuck yesterday at what transpired and how impossible it feels to get actual support. So this might be a bit of a tangent, but I'll get there. So long story short, about 1.5 years ago, I had to cover for a coworker at my day job. And basically, I computer too hard, and I got probably tendonitis in my hand. That's what I've been told. Now, because health insurance in this country works in a really fucking annoying way, I waited, and it is my fault for sure, but I waited until January to start physical therapy because I didn't want to start paying into the deductible, and then January hits and I have to pay again right away because it was near, the second half of the year at that point. So I didn't want to double pay basically in a shorter amount of time. So I started physical therapy for some months. Not sure how helpful it was. It wasn't hurtful. I don't know how helpful though. And then insurance says, hey, we need a doctor's thing before we can continue, so we're not going to pay anymore. I'm like, fuck, I got to get to the doctor ASAP so they can, approve this because my hand's fucked up. So I tell them, hey, my hand is fucked up from work. Can you please, give them back that signature, whatever it is, authorization? And they did. And then about 2 months later, insurance was like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll pay, yeah. But by this point, I'm coming back from my trip to Japan. I'm forgetting about this shit. I'm like, damn, do I want to set up that schedule again? I mean, I need to, but if I'm going to do this, I want to do it so it doesn't take like 5 months before I see substantial progress. So let me try to go to a certified hand therapist instead of just general physical therapy. And all the ones in a reasonable distance from me, I'm in Chicago, so it's not like, I'm lacking, right? But I don't want to drive all the way up above the loop and shit, right? So the ones near me, like under, the city a little bit, just slightly out of downtown, I'm looking around, and a lot of them don't have certified hand therapists. And the ones that do, they require a referral from someone who's already part of that system. I'll say Rush Hospital. I basically asked them, hey, I need a referral. What about for my primary physician? And they're like, nah, you need to be referred by one of our doctors. And I'm like, okay, so no matter what my doctor says, if I don't get a referral from one of your guys, I cannot do this with you. Even though you guys are apparently really fucking good. They're like, yeah, that's exactly the case. Get fucked. They didn't say get fucked, but they might as well have. So I call my doctor's office and asking, hey, is this a thing? They have limited referrals or, there's limitations on that? They're like, I mean, it's kind of weird, but I guess so. Because it was the front desk person. They weren't familiar, I guess, with all the laws and stuff. So I called the initial place back to confirm that, yeah, no other referral matters. If you're not in the system, get fucked. So on the call with my doctor's office, they're saying, hey, maybe, you can go to an orthopedist. And this is me after asking, hey, do you have any certified hand therapists that you guys know? So they gave me orthopedist, which would be an extra step before I actually get therapy again. I'm thinking, okay, that sounds kind of annoying, but if I want to truly know what the hell's going on so I can get this treated faster, I'm open to it. And I ask, okay, so to see this orthopedist, I need a referral. Does that mean I need to go and see my primary doctor? And they're like, yeah. I'm thinking, fuck me in the ass. How many goddamn days of work off do I need to take to find out what to do? So I'm going to have to go to my doctor so they can see me, just guess at something, send me to an orthopedist so they can find out what's going on. So then I can see what the hell happens next and see if I can even do therapy. I don't know. This system is fucking stupid. And just for shits and giggles, I did some research. I asked Perplexity, hey, by the way, this situation that I'm telling you right now, how would this go if I were in, I don't know, Japan or Germany or something like that, Like a very orderly place in Asia and a very orderly place in Europe. How would this go? And they're like, yeah, this would take like 2 steps instead of the fucking 5 that you're having to take. And it would be cheaper too. I'm thinking, very cool. Very cool, America. Love it. So I didn't even get to schedule that because I found all this out in the afternoon, and I was going to call my main doctor again to say, hey, can I schedule something? The nearest appointment you have, which is a fucking week from now, to even get this shit started. But I couldn't because at the end of the workday, a big meeting popped up at work, at my day job. So I had to stay on a call for about 90 minutes. So it was past 5 and I couldn't call. So I'm going to have to do that probably after I'm done recording this. Aren't surprised failure's very fun. Isn't it great when your software just fucks up and it causes a huge issue that you have to be on a long ass call for? Now, this is definitely a tangent, but point is the system that we have here in the US is dog shit if you want help to better yourself. Now, let me tie this into weight loss for all the people who are still fucking left here. So your main doctors, they spend about 20-ish minutes on average with you, which is, I think that's fucking crazy unless you're really healthy. But apparently only 8% of that goes to discussing, your overweight issue, your obesity issue. And then when you do the math, that's about 2 minutes to talk about a problem that's going to take huge lifestyle shifts and months to address, probably years. Very cool, right? Apparently, 3/4 of doctors say, they don't have time to deal with all this stuff for the patients. They have to go from one patient to the next, to the next, to the next. So if you're fat as shit and you're going to die of diabetes, well, what happens is the system is financially encouraging of just prescribing, pills or syringes or whatever over behavior changes because, a doctor's sitting you down saying, hey, you're fat as shit and you're going to die in about 2 years. So what you need to do is you need to understand how calories work in your body. You need to understand what kind of deficit, what kind of math, what kind of timeline you're looking at, what kind of changes you'll be going through in that time, what you should do to speed that up in a healthy way, blah, blah, blah. They don't have time for that shit, I assume. I don't know why they can't just take, more time, but, more patience, more money, so fuck it. All that takes way longer than saying, all right, you're fat. Here's the thing. Go get some Ozempic and I'll see you. I'll see you in a year. That's easier. And that's why, while I think doctors are very informative, I think many of them are smart. The way that the system is, what they do for you is not the best. Sometimes what they recommend for you is not necessarily the optimal thing. It's more like, hey, this is the best I can do in the 1 minute. Side effects be damned. It'll kind of help. So I'll see you next year, see how it is. Apparently, this is fucking wild. 92% of primary care physicians actively prescribe weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, is that one? They do that while less than half of these doctors get into kind of the lifestyle aspect of it, which long term is more effective. So if you work in tech in an office and you're fat, you're just becoming a blob in your chair, and a doctor just gives you a prescription for fucking Wegovy, Ozempic. That's like if your kid kept lighting your cat on fire and they kept giving you buckets of water for it. It's gonna help. You're gonna get the cat not on fire anymore. But the ideal thing to do would be to teach your kid to not light your fucking cat on fire. That's what that's gonna be like when they prescribe this drug or whatever it is. Instead of telling you to change that life, those 8, 9, 10, God forbid, 11 hours that you're sitting down, those are doing far more harm than you think. But they're not going to talk about that. Hey, what do you do for work? Hey, you want to try standing up? Many doctors, they don't get into that. They're just going to say, hey, you're fat as shit. It looks like you're not losing weight on your own. So here's a drug, bitch. To be fair, a lot of doctors are not into, behavior therapy. They don't understand how to, just because you understand the biological science doesn't mean you understand the psychological science to help people get there, because everyone knows how to fucking lose weight, eat less, and optionally move more. That's it. How you do that is very challenging, though, in modern day especially. And some doctors aren't prepared for that, when the client or the patient comes back to you, they're like, this is really hard. I can't really follow the workouts. Tracking my food takes too much time. Blah, blah, blah. Doctors gonna be like, what the fuck? No, just take this drug, you fucking annoying fuck. And I'm sure some doctors are good at talking to people, but that's not what the job is, right? So I am kind of blaming doctors, but I'm kind of not. in a way. It depends. I'm more blaming the system, as you're seeing here. The thing with the system is that a lot of things that are issues for us, the physicians and other things, they focus on treating the symptoms, not the cause. So you're fat as shit, you're getting diabetes, you're getting whatever's going on. They're going to tackle that instead of, saying, hey, you want to change your life so you're not fat anymore and getting all these other issues branching off from that one. That's too much. That's too much work for them. Come on. You expect them to help with your health, you silly fuck. Like, again, I don't hate doctors. I'm just, this system is not letting them shine. I mean, I'm sure some doctors just suck ass and they just don't give a fuck. They're just writing a prescription and kicking you out of the office. Some, I assume, want to help, but, the practice they're in is like, yo, if I don't see this amount of patients, we can't be open at all. So I need to just get through them. I don't know. I'm not defending, I don't fucking know. This system sucks ass. So it's time to discredit some myths here. First one, my doctor knows what's best for my weight loss. You know what? They really should. Do you understand the basic science? They can probably help quite a bit, but the truth is, most doctors, they don't have, as I said, they don't have the time for that. And to change your lifestyle, it's going to be mostly on you. So when they see you and talk about this shit for like 3 minutes tops, the weight loss advice they're going to give you is not going to be the best, not going to be the most high quality. So I'm not saying, hey, fuck what doctors say. I'm saying, keep in mind, they got to get you in and out. So that's the choice they're going to make most of the time. The one that gets you in and out. Next myth, weight loss drugs are a permanent solution. I don't know if I need to address this. Okay, let's say this. If you take them permanently, sure, they might be. I mean, you can still out-eat that stuff if you're really hungry. It makes you less hungry, but dude, if you're super fucking hungry, you just eat way more than these drugs even tamper down your hunger for, you're still going to gain weight. I believe that's kind of rare, but can still happen. But yeah, I mean, in a way, if you take them permanently, they are a permanent solution. I wouldn't say a solution though. I would say like a Band-Aid or something. Next myth, if lifestyle changes worked, doctors would recommend them first. What? Maybe they used to. And they still do sometimes. Obviously they say, oh, make sure you get some exercise, blah, 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 blah. But everyone knows that. The thing is, if they come to your fucking office and they're still fat, that's not working, obviously. So more instruction would be helpful. And sometimes I mention instructions on here for weight loss. So subscribe. Not medical advice, but subscribe. And, even if they do recommend lifestyle things, like I said, that's mostly on you. And they often don't because they don't have the fucking time. They're not incentivized to do so. It just doesn't make sense for them to do it if they want to keep doctoring. And going back to the weight loss thing, the weight loss are a permanent solution myth. Many people get on them, come off of them because the side effects suck ass. So next myth, getting prescribed medication means I tried everything else. It's almost the opposite. I think I've told this story before, but I have a friend who has a kid and he was, being a kid, not paying too much attention. So they were thinking, hey, how about we give him some drugs? Because let's give him some Ritalin because he probably has ADHD or something. My friend was like, hold the fuck up. How about we try other things to maybe see if his attention can improve? I don't know the specifics of what he was doing because I'm his child or his wife, but yeah, he was able to make progress on improving his kid's attention without drugs or medication. So oftentimes the medication is what comes first because it gets you out sooner. So no, it's not. A prescription does not mean that everything else has been tried. That's the last resort. That would be cool if a medication was the absolute last resort because a lot of them have bad side effects and make you reliant on external chemicals when, much of this stuff can be done from, coming from your brain, not having to take something to force a change. And that's preferable. Last myth, insurance will cover what I need. How do we tell them? Going back to, my earlier story about the insurance, depending on your insurance, most insurances cost too much. The good ones cost a fuck ton, but it's like a mafia thing, If you don't have it, it sucks. So it's like the health insurance is kind of like, hey, nice, decent health you got there. It'd be a shame if anything were to happen to it. Because if it does, you're getting fucked financially. I recommend insurance to everyone to have it. Not because it's going to be super helpful, but if you don't have it and something does happen, you are going to get financially fucked into oblivion and your life is going to be maybe over. So just get the fucking insurance. It's not going to cover everything, but yeah. I mean, for insurances, from what I understand, a lot of them, they help with the drug, the cost of the drug. But in terms of, let's say, counseling or something to make lifestyle changes, that's not often covered. If it is, they don't pay that much for it. So the incentive is not there for that. And like I was mentioning before, depending what time of year it is, it might affect what you're willing to do. You know, if it's like, if your deductible, let's say your deductible is like $5,000, right? And it's October, right? It could be the case you start paying the $5,000, right? You have to pay all that out of pocket until you hit the deductible. The year ends, you haven't hit the $5,000 yet. January hits, you have to start over the $5,000, just restart. So you end up paying, you're going to end up paying like upwards of like $9,000. Hopefully not the full $10,000 to do all that, but that's how it is. So if I misunderstand what the reality is, blame the fucking system because it is ridiculous to decipher that shit. But for me, in my case, I waited till January so I can start. So this year, if I go in and get some stuff done now, it's going to cost me very little because I already hit my deductible in fucking February. Immediately almost because, you know, shit costs a lot. But I want to get that out of the way so I can start paying a little bit for these regular treatments of physical therapy, which may or may not be the absolute key that I need. So if I'm going to need some x-rays or some shit, I want to do that this year because I hit my deductible, so it'll cost very little. If they push that shit till January, I'm going to have to fucking eat it. Eat the costs, pay all that shit from the beginning, have fun. Great. Anyway, yeah, that's a mistake. If you take in or accept a prescription before a behavioral thing, like if your doctor's like, hey, take this thing because you have whatever. It's like, hey, is there any way I can do this on my own without taking this? They should have an answer for you. Please ask. Instead of me hopping on a bunch of fucking supplements or something, it's like, hey, if you're low in iron or something, eat a bunch of sourdough bread. Great, I'll do that way before I touch other stuff. Not the supplements like iron would, be terrible for you. But what I'm saying is, if there's a way to do it that can be part of your normal life and in a good way, that's ideal before popping something in your mouth or stabbing something in your stomach or whatever, however the fuck Ozempic works. You know what's interesting? When there is some kind of physician, that's how you say it, physician-delivered counseling for weight loss, the average weight loss is like 5 pounds or something. That sucks. I don't know what that means. If maybe it's not covered as much, so it's not done as much, or it's not as effective for the patient to fully understand what they need to do. But that's pretty wild. So what can you actually do? For doctors, this whole weight loss situation, it's not going to mesh well with the American healthcare system that we've got here. So what's going to happen is you can ask, if there's a problem for you, ask your doctor for sure. Ask them like, hey, please tell me what I can do. They're going to tell you to eat less and move more, of course. But, for specifics, you can maybe ask something. But at the end of the day, you can't, literally the system doesn't allow for the time needed. So you can't expect your doctor to be your weight loss coach. I'm not just saying this because you should definitely come to me. What I'm saying is the weight loss is one aspect of health. If you're going in there with a broken, you have a broken ankle, you have this other blood cancer, whatever the fuck, they're going to be talking about that most of the time. The weight loss stuff is important, but it's kind of, depending on how old you are, might not be as urgent as the other thing. So they're going to focus on that. If they're going to talk on the weight loss, they almost definitely will, but it's going to be a smaller part because it's not going to kill you right away. It will kill you eventually, but not right away. So I'm not going to prioritize that. They might kick you a prescription or something, but yeah, the main weight loss effort will be relying on you. Like seriously, if you ask a doctor, they're probably, like I said, they're going to tell you eat less and move more. But like I'm saying, not necessarily push back, but ask for clarification. Say, hey, can you give me specifics or can you refer me to someone who can work with me and my lifestyle in particular to help me out? Maybe they'll have someone. Maybe they're covered by insurance. Maybe not. I don't know. But, it doesn't hurt to ask. They might have that kind of thing. And one important thing that you can do, I've done something like this before. I'm sure many people do. When you go into the doctor for your visit or for any reason, have like a list of what you actually care to get through. Don't make it too long because I don't have time for you. But have a list of things you want addressed in some way, shape, or form. You want addressed. Get a list beforehand so you don't forget. Because it's possible you forget. You know, they're sticking shit in your ear, your mouth, having you cough, putting stuff up your butt sometimes. Like, you know, you might forget. You might forget what you came in there for. So yeah, in terms of weight loss, honestly, I mean, you do know what to do. But in terms of getting extra help, you can reach out to me, of course, because I'm cool. Of course, don't reach out to me for doctor shit. I'm not a doctor. I just lost 100 pounds. I know how the fuck to lose weight. But when you're going to these doctor's visits, you know, ask questions, ask them. But it's the system is not made to help you out that much. Not with this. And if you work weird hours, you know what? Maybe you can do the telehealth, telemedicine visits. I've never done one of those because I want the physical stuff done to me. I don't want to just say, hey, doc, let's go hop on a fucking, a Zoom call. I don't want to do that shit. I mean, that's an option too. If they don't have to do anything physical, you just want to speak to them and you know, get charged a bunch. The telehealth could be helpful. And if that's outside of a normal physical visit, you might be able to spend a bit more time on you know, the weight loss recommendations there. So that's an option. So yeah, so the U.S. healthcare system is structured in a way where they get you in and out as soon as possible, and they give you a drug and shut you the fuck up. Not really necessarily changing your life or the habits that you do, because they don't have time for that shit and it doesn't pay as much. And believe me, I've worked just a little bit in healthcare before. If you don't follow all the rules, Medicare will stop fucking paying you. So if there's a reason that a lot of doctors want to stick to the, you know, get in and out, here's a drug, whatever, that's why. Because if not, I mean, if you do stuff that's too out of the norm, not following procedure too much, they'll just stop paying you for a bit. And it's not fun. So you're going to have to advocate for yourself. You're going to have to seek out help with the help of your doctor or elsewhere. Do some kind of research, please. If you need help from a person, reach out to them. However you get it, it'll be helpful, but you have to seek it because the system itself is not going to just kind of funnel you into a good place with this weight loss stuff. It's just not made for that. Shit, I have an issue with my hand. Like, it works. It's just uncomfortable and weird sometimes, but that's even taking me months and talking to this person to get this shit even set up again. So imagine making a life change, like, you know, reducing your weight by 30, 50, 70 pounds. Imagine how that'll go. It's going to be kind of a pain in the ass. So try it for sure, but, you know, have a plan in place for what kind of help you want. Otherwise, you're just going to get a fucking prescription for Mounjaro. Leave a comment. What's the craziest or most useless advice you've gotten from a doctor regarding weight loss? It would be funny if they just said, hey, can you exercise twice a week? Also, subscribe or you're not going to make it. All right, see you next time.